Good morning, friends. Big River here. Today is Monday, September 5th, 2016, and I'm just packing up, getting ready to head the Love Bus out to California, Northern California. And then I'm gonna do some more work up and down the West Coast. Um, but I just posted something on Facebook about how this is like my first time I'm heading out there with like this new perspective that I'm holding. And I wanted to talk about that a little bit because all of us kind of continue our stories, right? Whatever that story is. And in my case, it was abandonment. So people, I everywhere I go, people abandon me. That was the story I kept telling. And that's shifted with this last trip to Europe. I go into that in my last video a little bit of what happened. But I just want to bring to mind a mindfulness of what is the story you're sharing. Um, there's an old story. This is like a good way to lead into this, I guess. Of a man walks into town and says, "Excuse me, sir, what's this town like?" And he says, "What was the last town you're in like?" "Oh, everybody was mean and horrible, and I didn't get along with anybody. It was terrible." And the man said, "Yeah, that's exactly how this town is." And the guy's, "Oh man," and walks away. And a little while later, another man comes into town and says, "Excuse me, sir, what can you tell me what this town's like?" And he was like, "What was your last town like?" And he was like, it was really nice. I had all kinds of good friends and we had great times." And the man said, "This is exactly how this town is too." And the guy's, "Yippee!" And that story kind of sums up what I'm talking about here. Like, the story you continue. Me, it was abandonment. And I feel loved and supported now. Right now, I'm filming this in the backyard of my ex-wife's house. And when I stay here, I always, in the past, felt abandoned, felt like I just couldn't wait to get out of here. And this time I actually am appreciating the fact that she's letting me stay here. It's very loving and supporting. My story has changed. So I'm excited to get back out to the West Coast with this new perspective of feeling loved and supported. So I'm pretty excited about this. But I just wanted to remind you to think about what is your story. You notice how it keeps following you no matter where you go? It'll be better when I move to town X. Really? It'll be the same, right? Because you're continuing that story. I just want you to be mindful of that. Um, I'm thinking about like when I meet people, it's interesting, like especially like people I'm interested in, like romantically, and you, they start telling you stories about like their exes, right? And pay attention to that because you'll probably be a continuation of that story. If their exes aren't trustworthy, you probably won't be trustworthy, right? You'll be asking that pretty girl for directions on the street and you betrayed her trust somehow, right? And it was simple. Or, it's a continuation of that story. And just be mindful of that too. It really has nothing to do with you. It's really about them. When somebody complains about somebody else, they're really telling you what their issues are. In my case, feeling abandoned was my lack of self-trust. And I admit that openly. And lack of self-trust also manifested in people that I couldn't trust, right? All of a sudden, this other person I couldn't trust that betrayed me, blah, blah, blah. And I could tell that story, but you know what? No, they did what they needed to do for whatever their reasons were. And it really had nothing to do with me, right? I just want to point that out. Think about the story you're continuing because you're the one that has the power to change it. I'm heading off to California now with this new perspective of feeling loved and supported, and it is going to be awesome. Hopefully I will see you soon. Hoka Hey. Aho.